Welcome to Bad Boys 3.0 off-season edition. I got Hoy here with me today. We are going to be talking about trades, and we're going to be talking about the big trades. I don't want to hear anything about this maybe Trae Young's available in Washington. You know, maybe for the Pistons, honestly, if it was the right price. I was texting somebody the other day, like, we want Kyrie really bad. Like, why not Trae? But no, we're not talking Trae today. I don't think it's going to happen. I know, you're looking at the face already. I shouldn't have started there. All right. There is only one place you can start, and people are doing shows every day because there's new information every day. My boy Jake Fischer is going on Bleacher Report every day in the afternoon. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Every single trade, every transaction is currently waiting for this Giannis domino to fall. Nothing can happen until Giannis moves. The teams I have laid out that we're going to talk about today is you have to talk about Milwaukee, Boston, Miami, New Orleans, Detroit. Those are the big five. Then you can throw teams like Portland, the Los Angeles teams, Dallas. There's a couple more teams, but those first five that I mentioned are all interconnected with Giannis, or they need Giannis to move before they can make their move. Okay, before we get going, what have you heard about Giannis lately? As somebody who doesn't quite follow it as closely as I do, what are you thinking with Giannis right now?
I actually haven't seen too much on him. I just know he wants out. That's about it.
And so, okay, let's get right into it. What we have is the Bucks owner actually goes on record saying that if a Giannis trade happens, he didn't promise it was going to happen, even though it's pretty much going to happen. He said if it happens, it's going to happen before the draft. And the draft is next Tuesday. So we're there. That's what I mean. So that's why this stuff is really heating up, because it's a totally self-imposed deadline, but there is a deadline for some reason. And I think it's because the draft is a way to totally reset your team. If Miami, who we're going to talk about here in a second, has the 13th pick, and if by some miracle Giannis ends up in Miami, Milwaukee will have that 13th pick, and they want to use it in a good draft. And so that's part of this whole thing.
Makes sense.
So like I said, we have a self-imposed deadline. Let's get right into Miami. Miami has, I don't want to call it an offer because, all the reports have to put offer in quotes because I don't really know what an offer is in the NBA. I think a lot of people use the term trade concept. So we'll make the joke and say Miami has the only / best trade concept out there with Milwaukee right now.
That's like when you write it on the napkin and you just hand it over during dinner, right?
That's 100% what it is. It's not through any official, when you're on the app and you're doing fantasy and you can hit accept. Milwaukee doesn't have the accept button light up yet. Apparently that hasn't happened with any trade that matters. So, okay, the trade that would send Giannis to the Heat is Tyler Hero, Davion Mitchell, Kel'el Ware, and Yami Jaquez Jr. Now, and 3 first-round picks.
Names.
And 3 first-round
picks. Names.
Well, it's quantity. Is it quality? It is a lot of names.
Is it quality? That's crazy. Those are a lot of good talent, young talent right there.
Okay, so okay, and this is where the Pistons come in every time because everybody wants to say Tyler Hero is from Wisconsin. And that is literally the only reason that they used to say why Tyler Hero would be a Milwaukee Buck. It doesn't make any sense for Tyler Hero to be a Milwaukee Buck. He doesn't want to be, I'm not reporting this, but there's no way he wants to be a Milwaukee Buck. He's been on the Miami Heat his whole life. He was with Kentucky. He's won his whole life. He's scored 20 points in the finals multiple times. I cannot imagine. We're going to talk about Jaylen Brown here in a second, but I don't think Tyler necessarily looks at himself as a 1A, can carry this Milwaukee Bucks team to the playoffs on his back. I don't see that from him. If you were Tyler, is that what you would want at this point? Because I know he's done some stuff. He's played in the finals. He's never won. At 26 years old, he's making $30 million a year. He's already got the contract. Score 30 points a game. Would you do that? Is that something? I don't know. The team's horrible.
Uh, I mean, I guess it always comes down to what are the other pieces you're willing to put around him. I mean, I think he's also the type of player that has enough faith in himself, where if there are the right pieces, he can do something. Kind of like how he, has been taking this Miami team, pretty far for what I would say. Um, but is Milwaukee the place? I mean, only time will tell that one.
So I don't believe it. So I go through these things and I just try to put logic to the situation. I look at what's actually been reported and try to put unbiased logic to it. Tyler Hero does not make sense with Milwaukee. So that's why every time I come to this trade, it makes sense for the Pistons to get involved. Like, this is the time. And when I did my trade video 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, this was my number one trade. I had Bobby Portis in it, but I redid it without Bobby Portis. So the 3-team trade between Milwaukee, Miami, and Detroit would have Miami receiving Giannis Antetokounmpo. Obviously, that's the only thing they get. Detroit would get Tyler Hero. So they're getting each of the quote-unquote big names in this. Milwaukee would get Isaiah Stewart, Karis LeVert, Davion Mitchell-Cloware, Yami Jaquez Jr. We would have to add, I would say, 2 first-round picks to make this happen. So if you made that, you put all the math together, what does actually Milwaukee get out of this? That would give Milwaukee 3 first-round picks from Miami, 2 from us. So they're going to get 5 first-round picks. They're going to get Stewart, Davion Mitchell, Cloware, Yami Jaquez, and then, they're probably going to cut LeVert because they probably have too many guys on the roster at that point. So it's those names and 5 first-round picks for Giannis if you give us Hero. It's not a trade that you immediately hang up on, but I do understand why it's also not a trade where you don't immediately hit accept either. It is right on that line, in my opinion. What do you think after laying all that out? If you are sitting there, if you're Milwaukee, is this enough? Because the sad truth is we're going to go through some other teams. I don't know if there's another trade out there. So it's almost this or nothing.
I mean, at first glance, I'm just thinking, like, who am I getting from this draft that can kind of complete that set from, if I'm the GM of Milwaukee, I'm getting some decent 6-man rotation player pieces. And I mean, Davion Mitchell proved he can play, and Khalil Ware showed some very big moments this year as well. So it's not like they're total scrubs and washed. They can ball. So if you can create some real pieces around them, and get a bona fide star or another really good core unit type of player from the draft, then maybe. I mean, you're telling me they get 5 basically. They basically get 5 picks coming up, either in this draft or going forward. So I mean, that's a quick rebuild process right there. So I mean, it sounds pretty enticing. And then the other thing I heard you say is they might cut Karis. So I'm hearing we just offer him Karis, and then we can just pick him back up. I mean, why not?
Maybe. I mean, he just doesn't make sense for them, and maybe somebody will give a 2nd-round pick. I don't know. But you need the salary. And that's why some of these contracts are just it's nothing against Karis. His contract is tradable. Like it's one of those things where Stewart makes 15, he makes 14. That gets you to 30 million. I mean, and Tyler Hero makes 31. So that's how Detroit gets that.
And it's a business in the end. So.
And so things from the Detroit side of things with this trade, we're keeping Ron Holland. And so that's, all the fake trades you've been seeing this summer, Ron Holland floats in and out of them a little bit. This is one where you get a real, star is too big a word for Hero, but you get somebody that can win. You can win with Tyler Hero as your starting shooting guard, especially with how good our defense is. He's a pretty darn good fit for what we need. He's not going to necessarily make us a finals favorite, but, let's just look at who won the finals this past year, the New York Knicks. Is he on the level of the Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, those level? He's probably better than Josh, but is he quite Mikal or OG? Probably not. But, that's kind of what you're trying to do there is add 2 or 3 of those level pieces to Cade, who would be your Brunson. I don't know. I like it personally. I like it. And so from the Detroit side of things, Tyler Hero fit with the Pistons. Do you like it at all?
I've been a big Tyler Hero fan. Just in terms of like when I watch him, he's a dog. Like he has that like grittiness, which is what the Pistons thrive on, and we're talking about bad boys. I think he would fit that bad boy mentality just fine. I think health is probably my biggest issue with him. Is can he stay healthy for a full season, or especially when we need him? I think that would be my only real big concern with him because he's shown signs of injury for his whole career at this point.
All right, Boston. So if you were a, well, I guess we'll put it this way. It's obvious to look at Antetokounmpo on the Celtics and think like, yeah, that's a great fit. Like that's Tatum, Giannis, like that could be good. And Boston has been known to swing mega trades. Like they've done it. They traded for Kyrie, they traded away Kyrie. They've done big things. Um, I personally don't see it. The trade would be straight up Jaylen Brown for Giannis. And I don't even know who gets a pick in that. Like, it might just be straight up show me who's better. And a little bit of it is Jaylen Brown has gone on the record this offseason saying things like, this last year was my favorite year, where he clearly had the ball all the time. So like, I don't know how else you're supposed to interpret that quote other than he wants to be the guy. Now, right before we went on, Marcus Spears reported, I didn't need Marcus Spears to tell me this, but Jaylen Brown doesn't want to go to Milwaukee. So, that side of things, it would have to be a 3-team trade again. And that one's tough. Like Brian Windhorst always says, and I don't want to quote Brian. I listen to him a little bit, but a 3-team trade is a no-team trade because they just don't happen, and it's really tough in the NBA to have a 3-team trade. This is the time of year where sometimes they do happen, but there is a lot of Boston, Giannis, stuff out there. And I personally don't see it at all. And none of the reporting it has enough behind it where where it makes sense to me. I love Bill Simmons. He said things like Boston has looked at the idea of a Giannis trade, or they've put their hat in the ring, I think is what he said, which tells me that Boston is looking to make a trade. I just don't think it's the Giannis trade, which brings us to New Orleans and Trey Murphy. And Pistons fans, I'm sorry, because I know Trey Murphy is your number one target. I know in every Pistons fan's heart, they're just like the age with Trey Murphy. They love it. They love the defense. They love the shooting. They love the shooting, Pistons fans. If Trey Murphy is traded, the only place that makes sense is Boston. There is not a Pistons trade that makes sense for Trey Murphy. I know Pistons fans are going to just stop listening right now because they don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. New Orleans wants to win. It doesn't make sense for them to trade Trey Murphy, who's a 26-year-old borderline star, for picks and younger players, like when they want to win. It does not make any sense. You know who it makes sense for New Orleans to trade for? Jaylen Brown. You know who makes more sense for Milwaukee to get than just Giannis is Trey Murphy and Javante Murray. Like you get Murphy and you get Murray. That's going to put Murray next to White. That's going to put Tatum, Trey Murphy. They like Kata in Boston. You're kind of talking now. If you were going to get rid of Jaylen Brown, if you were going to go that route, which we're going to get to that question in a second, which if you should get rid of Jaylen Brown, that's a whole other question. New Orleans, Jaylen Brown, the return package to Boston. Initial thoughts? Yes, no, maybe so.
I mean, as a Pistons fan, it hurts to hear you say he's not coming to the Pistons because I mean, that was the one I'm like really leaning on. I'm like, oh wait, Trey would fit so well. Now, I mean, I could give half a toe less for Jaylen Brown, but my question is, if we somehow throw Asar in the mix here, which people might hate me for saying this, does that change anything? Because I personally think Asar shouldn't be untouchable, and like he could make some good, opportunities for us here by getting rid of him. And I personally think we have a Houston problem. Houston, we have a problem, and it's the Thompson twins. It is literally a thing. Um, I'm sorry, they're freak athletes, but they lack one thing which you need in the NBA at that position, at least to some degree. You don't have to be exceptional, but I need you to, if someone leaves you at the 3 point line, at least take it and be comfortable taking it to make it scary. So I'm cool with throwing him in the mix. Now, what's your take on that? Because now, if we can do a swap somewhere and get Trey on our team and Asar's moving, or maybe even get Brown, I don't know. I would love Brown on our team too. He plays defense. He can shoot. Um, but is there a package if we throw players like that in the mix? Because I mean,
The short answer is yes. So if you look at New Orleans, their fan sites, which will give you the worst trades in the world. Just don't ever look at fake trades if it's a fan site. Just I beg you, please. But from the Detroit side, like I said, we're trading Ron Holland, Isaiah Stewart, and we're putting the whole thing on Troy Weaver wants Isaiah Stewart back because he drafted him. He's going to trade Trey Murphy to us because he wants Isaiah Stewart back, and gosh darn it, he needs a center. But no, so that's coming from our side of things. Is we're thinking Ron Holland, Isaiah Stewart, and picks, obviously, maybe 3. As many as they want because Trey Murphy. New Orleans side, they say, well, yeah, let's trade Trey Murphy because we're clearly getting a Sir Thompson in this trade, like obviously. And so that was another reason why the golf is just too much, because it's obvious all these big time names, like you're saying, a Sir Thompson is the first call. That's the first name. That's who everybody wants. And some of the GMs will just play the hang-up game and be like, well, I don't really care to spend the next 2 hours discussing the rest of your roster. I'll just take the chance that maybe you call back, and they just hang up. Like, it's just a sir or hang up, and then they just hang up. Because when it comes down to it, I said it on 2 weeks ago, you need to find a team that values Isaiah Stewart. Like, that's a big part of this thing. And New Orleans does need a center. So it's not totally out of the realm of possibilities, Pistons fans, that gosh darn it, Joe Dumars is down there. And I did give Joe flowers a couple weeks ago, and I tried to remember his past and all the good things he did in Detroit. But Joe has done some head-scratching things in his life. And that's what Pistons fans are trying to hang their hat on, is that Joe Dumars is going to do something stupid. And Troy Weaver is going to do something stupid. And that, I just don't, I can't believe that that's going to happen. Like, when that happens, you just pop champagne and enjoy it. Like, you can't actually put a plan into place that involves them doing something stupid, because I don't believe it's going to happen.
well, one can dream.
And so Jaylen Brown to the Pistons, there's just been nothing on it. And so it would have to be another Milwaukee 3-team trade. Like, that would have to be it. So Jaylen just said he doesn't want to go to Milwaukee. If Boston really wanted Giannis, which let's do the conversation now. If you're Boston, they won the championship. It was 3 years ago. It wasn't quite 3 years ago, whatever it was, like 24 months ago. There's been 3 champions, whatever it was. They won, Oklahoma City won, New York won. The year Oklahoma City won, Tatum gets hurt in the second round versus New York. I think New York was going to win that series anyway. I know people like to look at that, like, Tatum got hurt. New York was already up 3-1, I think, and they were losing that game that he gets hurt in. So I think Knicks fans, I'm not going to take this one away from you. I think you have that series even if Tatum plays. But then Tatum didn't play, for most of the playoffs this year. I guess he played for the playoffs this year, but he played 10 regular season games or something like that. Mm-hmm. So if you're Boston, I mean, this roster is still, you still have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Unless Jaylen Brown flat out demands a trade, I wouldn't do it. I mean, this is a duo you don't break up. Like, they could easily, they're going to go in. The Knicks just won the championship. I would assume Boston's the favorite to win the East next year, even with New York on the table. That's just me personally. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm way off on that. But I would have Boston, New York. There's a little golf, and then the Pistons 3. Like, that's how I would have the East right now. And depending on where Giannis goes, which even if Giannis goes to Miami, I'd probably still have the Pistons above him. But either way, Jaylen Brown, you're Boston. What do you do?
I mean, I guess they're kind of in the same situation with Giannis, right? It's just all on Jaylen Brown at this point. Like, does he want to stay? Does he not? I mean, you have the talent on the team. You have players, a good defensive core. Peyton Pritchard showing really good sparks.
Hmm.
Derek White's still on the team, so I mean they're looking good. But does he want to be a star somewhere else? I mean that's the real question. Because I mean man's gonna get his bag and go do his thing if he has to.
Yeah, no, so you're absolutely right. And it hasn't got to the Giannis point with him. And so I think that's why I'm saying that is because, and he is public all the time. That guy is streaming on Twitch literally
Yep,
24/7. Like if
he
you
is
want to see him
streaming.
talk, like I'm sure he's right now. Like I'm sure nobody's listening to this. They're listening to him. Um so but he hasn't said anything that would indicate that he wants out. Like that he said things that probably he's trying to maybe make his role, basically what it was still next year for the Celtics. And maybe, Tatum plays off of him. I don't exactly know what he's trying to do with this, but he hasn't said the thing that gets him off the Celtics yet. I don't think he's said that thing yet. But Boston makes mega deals. They do. I don't know. Um, the other thing I wanted to hit on this is, you know, why not Giannis to New Orleans? Because if you're Milwaukee, so let's just take this from Milwaukee's side. Trey Murphy, New Orleans. Sorry, I'm burying the lead here. New Orleans has Milwaukee's 2027 first round pick. It's a swap actually, but Milwaukee's going to be worse. Well, actually, that might not be true. But I think that's when they made the trade. Milwaukee and New Orleans probably thought they were going to be the same. But so New Orleans can swap with Milwaukee next year. Now with these tanking rules, and that's why people were joking that Trae Young's available now because, it doesn't benefit to be bad anymore. So everyone's like, well, I don't want to have Trae anymore because it doesn't do me any good to be bad. I got to win 30 games. Can't have Trae on my team. No, I take that back. Cut that, Josh. Cut that. I like the part where I said Trae might fit on the Pistons better than that dig.
No, I like what you just said.
But from Milwaukee's standpoint, I do think New Orleans with Trey Murphy being the best asset on the market, like that would make the most sense for them. Like they could almost convince themselves that this is a guy you could build around. Like I don't think they should. Like he's probably a 1B, maybe even a 1C on a championship team. But like Jaylen Johnson with the Hawks, like that's it's not quite the playmaking that but Jaylen didn't have that playmaking at the beginning. He kind of grew into it a little bit. I really, I'm going to overuse the Jaylen Johnson on the Hawks analogy just because of the growth that he had. And it's just like any 6'9" guy that has any slight playmaking, shooting, dribbling abilities. It's like, well, just become Jaylen Johnson. It's not that hard. But obviously that guy is spectacular. So like I said, from the Milwaukee standpoint, I do think New Orleans technically could make the best offer. From New Orleans standpoint, Giannis doesn't make any sense. So if for some random reason a New Orleans fan was listening to this and they were like, oh my God, I want Giannis, he doesn't make any sense on your team. You have Derek Queen, you have Zion. Giannis, Derek Queen, and Zion don't work together at all. Like it doesn't take much basketball knowledge to see that that's not going to fit. And they are emotionally committed to Zion, I think, at the moment. And they are emotionally and financially committed to Derek Queen and the fact that they traded their first round pick this year for him. And so just like they need him to be something, or that front office is probably losing jobs. Like they legitimately put their whole job on Derek Queen's shoulders. And
Hey, he looks
he
good.
didn't he didn't lose it for him. That's what I was going to
Yeah,
say.
he
Like
looks
it was
good.
like it was one of those where it was like, okay, like you get another year. Like we'll give you one more year. So that trade's not going to happen. Like I said, you said Jaylen Brown to the Pistons. That's your best chance right there. Is if for some reason, I'm sorry, that would be if Jaylen, if the best offer Milwaukee gets this offseason is from Boston, and Jaylen clearly doesn't want to go to Milwaukee. That's the Pistons' only chance of him because they could reroute him to Detroit, and Detroit could do the same thing, and we would give more picks than Tyler Hero. Like the offer would be better. The Jaylen Brown trade would have Ron Holland in it, hands down. It's going to come to a Sir Thompson. Does it have a Sir Thompson? And once we start talking Jaylen Brown, you probably have to start talking to Sir Thompson, and that's where Milwaukee's going to start talking. And that honestly is probably that conversation. I'm sure has been had behind the scenes. Like I'm sure Milwaukee has called Detroit and asked if for some reason Jaylen Brown was on our roster, could we get a Sir Thompson? Like I would be shocked if that phone call hasn't happened because why would it not? What else do you have to do all day? Like goodness.
I
Jake
mean,
Fisher's making the phone calls. Why don't you?
I think one promising thing is if Jaylen Brown does have that 1A mentality ego where he wants to, you know, really go out there and win something, what better way to go to, a rival in the East and take out the Celtics.
But isn't it the same exact thing? And maybe I'm pumping Cade up too much, but like, wouldn't it be the same exact thing? Because it's Cade's team. Like it's Tatum's team. Like I know I might be giving Cade a hair more than he deserves, putting him on Tatum's level, but like it's not that far. Like it's not outrageous. Like as Pistons fans, we believe we can win a championship with Cade as our 1A. So like anybody we get, unless your name is, I mean, I don't even know. Like everybody's going to be a 1B to Cade.
But I think
Like
it feels
everybody.
different. I think it feels different because Jaylen and Tatum almost have that same, like, they're both not point guards. They
Yeah.
both still kind of want the ball in their hand type situation to make a big play. But Cade's a creator. Like he's gonna get his bag, but he's dropping what, 9 assists a game, 8 assists a game.
Almost 10. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Just
I
under 10.
mean, you got a guy like that as your sidekick or 1A, then I think he would be totally happy being a 1B. But it's a little different dynamic when it comes to the Celtics, where it's like a mixed 1A type of situation. Like they're both trying to be 1As.
Yeah. And okay, we got a few more names we have to get to. So, but that it's interesting. I wasn't expecting to talk Jaylen Brown to the Pistons this much, if I'm being honest. So it's interesting though. It's interesting. I don't think it's going to happen. To be very very clear.
Well, if
All
the
right.
stars on the
The
team.
other, yeah, and you're right though. I mean, honestly, you're right. It's simple analysis, and you're right. But let's move on. The other Giannis team that it pretty much he said no, but you're going to see stuff is Portland. They can create a package that makes sense. They have a lot of young guys. They have the need for a Giannis type figure on the team. He's played with Dame and he liked Dame. Like the Milwaukee thing, it had nothing. The reason that went down had nothing to do with the fact that Giannis and Dame didn't like each other. So that's a positive that Dame's there, and it's not even where it's Dame's team anymore, so it's a lot easier to just coexist. Where it would clearly be Giannis's team, it would be they got Avia out there, or not Avia, they got sorry, they got
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Avia out there, yeah, I got the right,
Danny
yeah,
Avdia.
yeah, they got Dame, they got Avia out there, yeah. So I mean that would be that's the 1A 1B would be Giannis and Denny, and then. But actually, Avdia is probably in that trade. Now that I say that, I don't have the fake trade in front of me, but that's the other team you're going to see. It doesn't. I don't think Giannis wants to go there to flat out. And this is where the final point is. Like, I don't think Giannis wants to go west either. Like, all these teams we're talking about keeps Giannis east with Miami, with Boston. Pacers fans, I don't want to hear you. But that's all east. At Portland doesn't make sense because it's west. But you will see some stuff. I don't know if you have anything on the tip of your tongue about Portland, but you will see their names come up.
And I've heard a lot of the Warriors fans here requesting him to come there. So
So, you know what? I didn't have them on the list, but let's get to it. That is it's like the Lakers. So I'm going to put the Warriors in with the Lakers, where your fans are just loud and like you just have media that's just loud. Like the offer is horrible. Like horrible. Like the Warriors don't have anything to offer, and like you're kidding yourself if you're thinking like Moses Moody and Pajemski haven't had value their entire careers. You've been trying to put them in fake trades their entire careers, and it doesn't work. So just stop it. And the roster's bare. It's not Giannis, it's LeBron, and it's for nothing. And
well,
it's a retirement tour, and it's a circus.
I think
That's
what
what you're
people are
looking at.
saying, yeah, the people here are saying send Draymond home and bring.
Okay, I am reporting this. Draymond's not coming home. There you go. Yeah, I've never been more confident of anything. It doesn't fit. There's just no point. Unless he wants to come on the vet minimum, Draymond, you come on home, brother. We got room for anybody of your caliber on the vet minimum. Even the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, I think, is about 6-7 million a year. Maybe. But at his current price of $22 to $24 million, no. So I'm sorry, Draymond. I'm sorry. The sad truth is, we'd rather have Tobias Harris at this point. I'm sorry. That's just the truth.
uh, well, let's get
Okay,
back to
so
it though.
yeah,
So like we're talking Portland. How does that loop back into the Pistons? And like, what is there anything there, or is that just
no, that one's he's just not going west, and
he's
it's the
not going
same with
west?
LA, and it's the same with the Warriors. And really, that's what like we've talked about it all. There's nothing left, and so we've done circles around this, and that's why this trade hasn't been accepted. Is because this is what Milwaukee's done for the last a year, last 6 months, last 2 weeks. Is that they call Miami and ask them if they can get him anymore, and Miami says Detroit hasn't thrown in a Sir Thompson yet, so no, we can't get you anymore. And then they call Boston and they say, Boston, will you give us Jaylen Brown? And Boston says, no, Jaylen Brown doesn't want to go there, so I don't know why you want him. And we're stuck. We're stuck in a circle.
How much is it nowadays where the players can actually like have that much say though? Didn't it used to be more like, hey, if this trade makes sense for our team, Jaylen, you're gone, you're going to Milwaukee, Giannis come. Now it seems like it's more player driven, and they're just like, oh, I don't want to go there. They just
The sad, honest truth is Giannis needs to sit down with Jimmy Butler in a classroom with a notebook and a pen, and Jimmy's just got to tell him how to do it. Like there's a way to do it, and it's ugly and it's messy, and it gets you where you want to go. I don't know, it sucks, but it does, and Jimmy has mastered it, and he should teach the class. Like I don't know who else would.
you tell the starters they're washed, and they're never getting anywhere without me.
You know what's funny? I haven't heard that brought back to Cat yet because Cat just won. Like I haven't heard that. Has that been out there?
Oh no, what's crazy is everyone he called a scrub has now won a ring except for him.
Wiggins won. Wiggins won too.
Teagues was on I'm pretty sure Teagues won one too, right?
Was he on that Boston team? He might have been he might have been on the bench of that Boston team or where was he? Did he win one? Maybe I don't know.
But basically everyone he's called a scrub has won one except him so far.
Oh my gosh, that's just hitting me.
Which is crazy how life works, man, because
oh my gosh. All right, last team. It's Dallas, and it's with Detroit, and it's Kyrie Irving. I was shocked. So I had Kyrie when I did this a couple weeks ago. I just literally canvassed the whole league for financial trades that make sense and basketball trades that make sense. I put Kyrie at number 3. I had RJ Barrett a little bit above him, and I have not heard anything on RJ, so that was my only miss. I had the Tyler Hero 1-1, and I had Trey Murphy 4. I was shocked to see that there were actual reports of conversations between Dallas and Detroit. There were actual phone calls. Detroit has legitimately made phone calls to Dallas asking for what the price would be on Kyrie Irving. So you have to look at some of these reports, and it's like, okay, who leaked the report? How did this get out? Like, who does it benefit that it's known that Detroit called Dallas? You would think, the first thing you would think is Dallas wants to put that out because they want to see who else is interested in Kyrie. If the report gets out that Detroit is interested in Kyrie, another team might be like, whoa, I didn't even know Kyrie was available. I can probably put a better offer than the Pistons can. Let me try this. So that would be the reason. But there hasn't been any other reports after that one that came out a week ago, which makes me think that Dallas heard what we had to say. They tried to see if they could spark up any interest from anybody else to try to drive up the price, and I don't think it happened. Is either that or it's just really, really, really quiet, and Detroit's really good at keeping this close to the vest. But I'm kind of guessing that it was a simple phone call that didn't necessarily get too far. So sorry, Pistons fans.
Not even sorry.
I see you shaking your head over there. All right, so not a good fit at all.
I don't want Kyrie. I think he's got that Kevin Durant effect where they're just not the team players that and they're not even the same talent that they might have been back then. I feel like they kind of lost a leg. I don't know. I just don't like it. We're a young team trying to do big things, and I don't know what's the point of bringing him along unless he's got some vet experience that he's gonna expose or something. I don't know. I would have almost, and call me crazy, but
Who are you gonna say?
I would have much rather had Cooper in this, and get rid of Asar, get rid of Duran. I like what we see in Reed. I like Isaiah plenty.
You're out of your mind.
Get rid of both of them.
Are you talking about Cooper Flag?
Let's get Cooper.
one of the most untouchable players in the whole league. All right, that's a great spot to be. A great spot to end on now. Yes, Pistons fans, Hoy would like us to get Cooper Flag
over Kyrie.
Yes,
yes, please.
Yes. If you could pick another player to play with Cade, Cooper would probably be almost number one. If you
Yeah,
could just
it'd be
turn
perfect.
the trade override button off on 2K and just move Cooper over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be right back. Just kidding. No, no. But honestly though, like really, Kyrie, like
Okay.
I don't know. I'm
No,
over it.
I hear that. I hear that. It's one of those where if you think you're one piece away, he is the obvious one piece for a lot of teams. For the only thing I'll push back on, and I don't know if I have a lot of evidence other than a lot of guys that have been on teams with Kyrie, I don't want to say they've defended him, but they don't have as much negative things to say as maybe the media does, or maybe as people had portrayed it to be. When he was with LeBron, like LeBron just thought he was young and dumb. Like he was one of those guys that like you talk with him and he talks and it's like, oh my God, like you don't know anything about the world, like at all. Like you just are living in your own world, which Kyrie was for a long time. He might still be. That was kind of his whole thing. As he's gotten older, like specifically this Dallas turn, it has gone really well. Like I said in the other one, I don't want to say he's totally rebuilt his reputation, but like it's to the point where I'm bringing his name up. There's a lot of teams that would like to have him. I don't think Boston wants him back, but like there's a lot of teams that would like to have him.
Yeah, I mean, just going down to like the actual game of basketball though, I just don't see, especially with the pieces we'd probably have to give up to get him. I don't see that much of a benefit where he's like filling a gap because he's not like, I mean, yes, he can put up buckets, but one, health, but then also like, is he that floor spacing type of shooter that he once was back in the day? I don't know. I just don't see it helping as much.
And honestly, financially, the trade is tough because they don't need Isaiah Stewart. Like that's one team where like he doesn't make sense really at all. They got Lively,
Yeah,
they got a
not for
couple
that
other
team.
things going on at center there. So and he has to be in the trade because it was 15 million. So Kyrie makes him the 30 millions, and so the trade is always Stewart and LeVert plus picks. It gets you, what's that going to get you? If this was 2K, that's what the Pistons are doing. It's LeVert, it's Stewart. Maybe Holland, not Thompson, plus picks is what these trades are. So, well, that's all I got for this week. We got the draft coming next week. We're going to have another episode about the draft. I have had the benefit of seeing, I think I went through it. I think I've seen 5 of the top 9 guys in person. A few I've reffed, actually. I think I reffed 3 of them. So this is a random draft class where I've seen them all up close and personal. So we're going to go through the whole draft here coming up early next week, probably Monday, Tuesday. But thank you for listening to Bad Boys 3.0 off-season edition, blockbuster trades, Pistons trades. Thank you, Hoy, for staying up late with me.
Always a pleasure.
Adios.